mailbox, and if you're new, welcome. I recently received these beautiful flowers from one of my pen pals. It's going to be in a up-and-coming Happy Mail. This is a little sneak peek for what's to come. I was so curious as to how she made these gorgeous flowers, and I'm going to link down below. Her name is Cheryl, and she has a video on her YouTube channel where she shows you how she makes them. She uses a cut file to create hers, and I don't have a silhouette, so I couldn't use an SVG file to create flowers, but I still wanted to come up with a similar sort of idea, and I created these. And you can really vary how you create them, and you can adjust the width of them so they could be really wide like this one, or you could keep them tight. You can play with them and make them as you like. So I'm going to show you how I created a little twirled flower. Now this was originally inspired by Paige Evans. So Paige Evans is the one who created the cut file, and I'm going to show you how I use this scallop punch and a pair of scissors and a glue gun to create these little flowers. So this is the paper that I used. This is what the final product will look like with this kind of material. So all I do here is I go in one of the scallops and I snip in a little bit, I twist, and I cut around the edge of the scallop to create a little swirl. And you're going to stay close to the scallops, but you're not going to actually cut them off. And then when you're getting to this point here where you've got the two left, you're going to start to turn in, and you're going to create the inner part of your swirl. Now you can do this as randomly as sporadically. You're not going to see any of this, so it doesn't really matter, but you're going to end up with something that looks like that. And then on your second scallop, you're going to take a little bit of a, well, you don't even have to use a bigger circle, but basically just a whole circle all the way around, and you can do this like as unevenly as you want. It really doesn't make any difference. Now when I saw how Cheryl made these, I noticed that the cut file had this sort of shape, so I thought I could recreate it with my scallop punch that I happen to have. So I thought I would give that a try. So the first thing that I do to create these is I start by rolling in this little scallop that's just the outside layer, and then you can go as tight or as loose as you want your flower to be, but the tighter you start from the beginning, you can always loosen it up after, but basically you just roll it along in between your fingers all the way like this to create your little center spot. And then you're going to come in with your glue gun, and you're just going to put a dab of glue on it there, and then you're going to start at your edge of the scallop here, glue that in place. You can hold it for a second or two just so that it sort of takes its spot, and then you're going to continue to wrap around the scallop. I'm not using any kind of special paper. This is just a regular cardstock. This is actually Echo Park, Lori Woodluck's crafting. I'd rather be crafting cardstock, patterned paper. And then, so here's where you've left the scallops, and then you just come in and you turn your last little bit of part that you've cut out there, little part of the swirl, and then you just put a dab of glue there and tuck it under, and then when you can let it roll a little bit, and then you can hold it in place to where you would like to have it, the size you would like to have it, and you have some time to play with it because the glue isn't quite dry when you first put your little amount on. And that's how it looks, and it sits quite nicely. So you could create like a little cluster of them, and I was saying you can do various widths and shapes and and sizes and stuff. You can experiment with them as well. When I first started to create these, I'll show you another way that you could make them. So I first started to make them a different way, and that allows me to get the different shapes and bigger circles here. And that I'm going to use this gorgeous Hooray paper. This is so beautiful with this foiling on it. This is from My Mind's Eye, and I really, really like that. So I'm going to do again the same. This is nice too because you can watch another replay of it, and you can see how little I'm actually trying to be precise with this. Every flower could end up different if you keep adjusting how you create these. There's my little swirl, and then I'm going to cut out the circle of this. So it really doesn't take a lot of time at all, and you can have a lot of fun playing with a number of different patterns. I would recommend using a double-sided piece of paper. Okay, so for this one, I'm actually going to start on this swirled shape one, and I'm going to roll in the flower from the edge here. So you can simply roll this up. So this is how I started making them at the very beginning, and then I ended up by accident starting by swirling this piece, and then I thought, well, what happens if you start with that piece? You really can't do it wrong. If you make these two shapes, you can glue it from the right or the left. You can have it like large or small. Like you really can't mess it up. So you just take this around like that, and then you can see how this sort of, you loosen it up, and it a little more glue there. Loosen it up, and it, there we go here, cute. So you could even just keep the flower small like this if you wanted to. Just have the one. But so now with this one, so you can start from the left side and put a little glue on there, and then you're going to you're going to just find a space to stick it in, glue it down, there we go there, and then you're going to wrap it around, and I'll show you from the bottom here. You just wrap it around the edge, and I found this just gives it a nice little finish on the outer ridge. And so here, look at how I'll adjust how I do each and every one of these. Like sometimes I'll tuck it up, sometimes I'll tuck it under. I just sort of play with it based on how the twirls look like they should go. And there we go there. So here's another one. This one's a little bit messier with glue since I dropped it and stuff. And then you could put some stickles or something around these. You could put a little gem on the inside. You could create them any number of ways. So there you can see, and you can really let them go and be a lot wider like I have with some of these other ones. You can see like this one got quite wide. And you can experiment. So this one here was Maggie Holmes Flourish, and they had the ombre effect of the paper, and I thought it might have like a neat sort of effect doing the light and green colors. You can see the difference in colors there. And then this one I actually used the light and the green in the same page. I made some cute ones with this. I love this paper from My Bright Life, Jen Hatfield, and that's how I made these little guys. These fun little ones here. They were all with this. I made quite a few with this. I really liked the way that the The little dots and the butterflies were very small little details that actually gave it a lot of interest on the inside of the flower. If you look really closely, you can see. So anyway, so that's my workaround. Now, if you watched my last tutorial, you would have seen me use foam to create these little swirls. Well, I seem to be on a kick of swirling things up, but I will leave this link here for you to be able to check out the tutorial on how to make these adorable, simple little lollipops. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again next time.